The Tennessee Titans are a team in transition, and that means we should be seeing a good bit from the younger players on this roster in the fall. I have 11 rookies projected to make the initial 53-man roster at the end of August, but how many of them will be a big enough impact to be felt? Using my intel, what we've heard from players and coaches, and what we've seen so far in offseason practice, I have ranked the impact that each of these rookies will have on the Titans in 2025. Let's begin. If you're part of the Tennessee faithful, you know just how many years the Titans have shaved off your life with the emotional roller coaster of sports. Or maybe the roller coaster of life is messing with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals. The new year is a blank space for you to write a new story. BetterHelp makes it easier to get started. They are our incredible sponsor for this video. Regardless, if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools you need to approach your life in a very different way. That's where our sponsor, BetterHelp, comes into play. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost if it's not the right fit. BetterHelp's platform makes finding a therapist easier because it's online and remote. BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. Plus, with our link, you get 10% off your first month. Start fresh any day of the year with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/ATOZsports and get 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp. At number 11, I've got wide receiver Xavier Restrepo. More bulletin board material for X, just the way he likes it, I'd imagine. Now, I've been as high as anybody I know on the Titans beat when it comes to Restrepo's chances to make this final roster, which I believe is better than a coin flip. But making the team and making an impact are two very different things. And for him to break into the receiving rotation on Sundays, I think there's either going to need to be some serious injuries in front of him, God forbid, or he'll need to be one of the biggest rookie UDFA surprises at the position that we've ever seen. I look forward to him somehow proving me too low on him. At number 10, offensive lineman Jackson Slater. Now, I love Jackson Slater to develop into a future starter for this team at center or guard, but I think he's on the 2026 Kevin Zeitler replacement plan. So for him to be called upon this season, a starter would need to get hurt, and he'd have to have worked his way to the front of the backup line faster than I expect him to. At number 9, cornerback Marcus Harris. I've actually got a cornerback higher on this list than Marcus Harris, but Harris was the Titans' 6th round draft pick, and he comes in at number 9 on this list. With the uncertainty at the top of the cornerback food chain on this roster, you can't rule him out to have to start a game or two this season. How he looks in pads next month, especially in joint practices, I think is going to be really telling in terms of his physical and athletic limitations. Let's see him try to hang against the faster, longer receivers that he's going to see in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll circle back on him. At number 8, running back Khalil Mullings. Mullings is the first player on this list likely to be active every week and see the field on offense without there needing to be injuries to necessitate it. He'll be the Titans' running back 3 that's used heavily on special teams and in certain dirty work situations between the tackles. If Pollard and Spears stay healthy, his impact should be noticeable but minimal. Number 7, UDFA cornerback Jermari Harris. Now, Jermari Harris is one of 2 UDFAs that I have making the initial roster, and he's the highest ranked on this list in terms of impact in 2025. He's been one of the only defenders that regularly caught my eye in OTAs, and the more I dug into the college profile, I really couldn't figure out why he went undrafted. He was a good player on Iowa's very competitive defense. They coach up their DBs very well out there. Now, I want to see him in pads, but I won't be surprised if he's competing for the Titans cornerback 6, 5, 4 even role this season. And those guys get called on most years, unfortunately. At number 6, safety Kevin Winston Jr. Now, I sat and thought about how high I could justify putting Kevin Winston Jr. for a very long time when I wrote this article. I'm extremely tempted to put him multiple spots higher, and I'm only being held back because of the quality of the 2 veteran starters in front of him at safety. I just can't shake this idea that we'll look back in the near future and wonder why we weren't talking about Kevin Winston Jr. more coming into his NFL career. This is a player who would have probably been talked about as a first-round pick if he didn't miss nearly all of his final season. He's going to be a full go to begin training camp, and I'm very bullish on him forcing the coaching staff to work him into the lineup this year. Number 5, edge Femi Oljo. Now, I encourage you to go read my article on appropriate rookie expectations for Femi's rookie season, but I have him 5th in this impact rating because whether he's really ready for it or not, he's going to be put in a position early and often to stack live reps. Now, the lack of depth and top-end talent at his position is going to demand it. And will he be a particularly efficient rusher as a rookie? I kind of have my doubts. But on sheer volume alone, I think his impact is felt in a real way, one way or another. At number 4, wide receiver Chimere Dike. Now, Dike, Iamaner, tomato, hard to differentiate these two 4th-round receivers until we get more of a sample size from them in practice and see them in pads. What I do feel good about, though, is both of them having a sizable impact on this team this year. I think the veterans ahead of them in this lineup are less solidified in their roles than a lot of people think, and the Titans won't be conservative with how quickly they work these guys in if all goes to plan. At number 3, wide receiver Alec Iamaner. I gave Iamaner the nod over DK in these rankings because, well, I'm biased. I've had to come around on how DK is going to fit onto this team since he was drafted, but I was 10 toes down on Iamaner as a prospect well before the Titans took him on day 3 in the draft. And I think he's the only true X archetype on this roster, so I'm expecting him to play a good deal this season, maybe even week 1. I can't wait to see him in pads using his size and speed against defenders. At number 2, tight end Gunnar Helm. Now, I've said since the draft that I think Gunnar Helm is the rookie most likely to have an immediate impact on this team besides Cam Ward. So I'm sticking to my guns here, putting him at number 2 on this ranking. I think he'll take over the starting Y tight end role and push Chigakonkwo for the primary receiving target in that room by the end of the year. There's a lot more on this interesting and perhaps dramatic tight end room at A2Zsports.com. I recommend you go read it. And at number 1, quarterback Cam Ward. Finally, as if there was any doubt, Cam Ward is number 1 in the rookie impact ratings. His impact on wins and losses will be orders of magnitude higher than anybody else on this list. The 2025 Titans go the way that Cam Ward goes. Here's to an exciting rookie season. For A2Z Sports Nashville, I'm Easton Freeze.